Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Being Nerds with Stefano. My name is Stefano Ritteri. You might remember me from previous Point Blank videos, like when we were in my home studio and I was making music wearing a cape and a crown, or when I was recording myself playing drums and percussions wearing very suspicious sunglasses, for obvious reasons. Today I'm in London in Point Blank studio and I brought with me some very, very nice toys. Some of them are actual toys that I kind of borrowed from my nieces, and some others are very, very nice machines that I got about a week ago. And they might look like toys, but they're actually really, really powerful and they're lots of fun. I'm trying to recreate today a little bit of a kind of a portable studio, you know, because when I'm traveling for more than a week, I have that itch. I'm sure that loads of you can relate to that. And I have that itch of making, you know, music on the road. And for sure, the laptop is more than enough to put down ideas, you know, and jamming with Ableton or with the iPad. It's fun, but you know, I was looking for something really, really portable to take around with me. And I've seen the pocket operators from Teenage Engineering. You know, there are 6 of them. I have 3 with me today. I have the Rhythm, which is a drum machine, the Arcade, which simulates sounds from video games, I guess, from the 80s, and Office, which is the weirdest of all, and my favorite, I think, which does, it has basically sampled sounds from Office in the 80s, so floppy disks and printers, you know, stuff that reminds me of my childhood, so I'm very, very attached to that. And then the most beautiful machine of all, the OP-1. It's really a bit of everything. It's a bit of a drum machine, a very, very powerful synth. You know, it has a tape recorder, so we can record up to 4 parts on a tape and then cut them around, paste them around. It's really a very experimental machine. I've always wanted one for many years, but I didn't quite get how deep, you know, this thing is until you start studying it. It's a self-contained studio pretty much, because you can record samples, which is what I want to do today. You can record from microphones, you can record from the internal microphone, you can sample from the radio, which is the coolest feature, and then you can actually play around with all the, you know, the different synth types and drums. So I was kind of thinking that it's a very beautiful machine to bring on its own, but I'm kind of thinking, how can I set it up? How can I make it work with Ableton? Today I just want to play around a little bit. We're gonna sample them and, you know, see if we can write down some good ideas basically with them. The 3 pocket operators, I'm gonna record one at a time, and they're going through the Rainbow Machine, which is my favorite pedal at the moment. It's a guitar pedal. I'm having one of those moments after the synth phase. Now I'm going through the guitar pedal phase. So I'm buying a lot of guitar pedals and experimenting. And this is a very, very particular one because it's a mixture of a pitch shifter, harmonizer, and a delay. I don't exactly know what it does, but it has a button which is labeled Magic. And, you know, I couldn't resist and I had to buy it. And so the operators go through that. What I can do is I want to start playing around with, you know, with the actual OP-1. So maybe we can start by sampling something. We have several modes. So this is, you know, this is one of the main synths that come with the machine. But if we go into sample, you can see that now it's getting the audio from this little field recorder, which I'm carrying always around with me, or sample the radio.
People have been saying, and it has always seemed perfectly reasonable.
You know, it's
Hang on a minute, that we will get, you know, we're living for longer and longer. This can't continue.
So
and people are still saying that. I hope, to, on a more pessimistic note, it may well be the case that you and people are still saying that. And people are still saying that.
What is pretty sick is that the effects that come with it. So say that we have that. I'm going to put a spring.
And people are still saying
a type of spring reverb. The graphics are really, really cool.
And people are still saying that. And people are still saying that. And people are still saying that.
Basically, everything becomes usable. We could sample something. Actually, we always have our mobile with us. So I'm just going to turn on my Spotify. Let's see if there is something usable in there. So much good music. Not enough time to sample it all. That's the problem. There we go. So the mobile has done its job. Now straight away we can put some of the crazy effects. It comes with, one of my favorite is this cow thing. I still have to figure out exactly what it does. Well, actually it's very, very good. And on this channel we could actually sample.
So that's 11,000 approximate jobs.
better. It's really fun because you get to put a nice reverb in there. So we have 4 tracks. First track, I want to put some drums. This is one of the kits that comes with it. I still didn't have time to put my own drums. They sound really, really good without effects. It has this beautiful sequencer, these 2 gorillas playing. So you just press and you can mix up different patterns. It should be all synced up with Ableton, which is a big win. So what I can do is I can go on our tape there and record a few bars. And you're literally committing it to tape, so there is no quantize, nothing you can do afterwards. Just gonna record a few bars. So this should be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Loop out. And then more or less is synced. So now we can go on track 2. Actually, we can start playing around with these things. So these are synced in MIDI to the system via a Volca that sends a sync signal to the operators. So these 3 have 3 different uses. The rhythm is a quite powerful drum machine. I think it's muted there. Let's check out. No, it should be all good. So these are the sounds. Maybe we can make it a little louder. So it has like some decent sounds already. So if I put, for example, the hi-hat, you can write it. You can write pretty much nice automations with it as well. Let's see. The Rainbow Machine gives it just a little bit of atmosphere. I'm gonna record this because I think we're coming in pretty strong, so I'm gonna record it a little bit. Just a clip in Ableton to have it audio, because whenever I touch any of these machines, I lose whatever I've been doing before. I tried the whole week to save patterns or whatnot. I really like very much the fact that they're also quite volatile in a way. So you just have to get it right, and whenever you think it's right, just record and then have it in audio. So this pattern, enough for it. I want to go into my favorite one, the office. So it has all these little office sounds. Let's see what we can do with this. Sync. Here we go. So this has some pretty, these little glitchy sounds that we can play around with a lot. So I'm gonna record some stuff live. I don't like this one. And it records all these motions in pitch and length. It's pretty good fun. I'm looking for the sound. For example, this could be let's see this one. We have this first part here. I'm gonna very quite like minimalistic in a way. It's nice to sample them around. Let's try here some sounds. So this has a lot of different synth modes. Let's go back to our tape. I'm going to go to tape number 2 and try. Let me stop Ableton here. Try to record on time because again there is no quantize in there, but it's fun. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So we go there, no effects, or maybe a little bit of, could add a little bit of spring reverb. Back to the tape. Now I've noticed that there are some sounds from the previous tape because basically you keep recording on yourself, so you need to remember to cut and paste. It is a little bit of I don't want to say a pain in the ass, but it's actually its own way of working, and that's what makes it really good fun. The fact that you have to be careful with the takes. There is no possibility of undo or going back. We are so used to to going back and edit and re-edit everything that actually having something that blunt, it's actually quite inspiring. It forces us to try to put stuff on on time or to actually play on time. So what I'm gonna do is the second part of the loop I think is the right one. So I'm just gonna make a shorter loop. Now, we have the 2 OP-1s there. Sample something else. So I'm going to plug this microphone. So by now I'm working with a very simple loop there. Right, so this beat getting quite deep. Let's see, maybe I can add a couple of hi-hats from here, try to mix it up. So I'm using one of my kits in Drummer. Let's put a metronome. I'd like to, actually without the metronome, I like to keep it, this also makes me want to do a little bit of a looser feeling with making music, I don't necessarily want everything super quantized or even swingy. So let's go back to the radio. Isn't there any like pirate radio that I can sample from? Again with the cow. Let's try some other. Let's try with. So this has these arcade sounds. So let's see. This is good. This could be good. I'm just gonna arm the track here so we're ready if something nice comes out of it. Actually, I'm just gonna play it live. Using Rainbow Machine. Let's go with the magic button. We've got a bunch of things here, I think that we can use. So I'm going to create some audio tracks. Audio, here it is. This can definitely be used. It's kind of distorted in a way, kind of 8-beat slash distorted slash through a guitar pedal. So everything, something a setup like this is really, in my opinion, it's really cool to just jam and record tons and tons of material, and then later on we can go back and look if there is something that we want to use in a song. But it's really fun to experiment and plug everything with everything. So for example, we have this little dub thing here. If I crop the sample so it becomes just those two little dub things, here we go, removing the loop, adding, for example, a very, very simple, let's say, very, very simple ping pong delay. This could be working in a nice transition in a record, for example. So I'm using the % here of the delay, so it kind of shifts the delay percentage a little bit like a dub record. Works. So with something like this, we can keep trying, to add something else. For example, another thing it's very easy to have with us is the iPad. We can load here these corners, for example. So if I press the sampling and I play something, actually it's gonna chop my parts, like it's chopping a break. So it's gonna be completely out of time, of course, because I'm doing it live. But so, let's see. See, all of the parts now are chopped in tiny little pieces. And if I put back one of the nice gorillas, they might have some grooves that work. Let's see. So, let's add some effects. So yeah, we have a bunch of tracks, very simple ideas, just recording all of these things. It also, the OP-1 comes with super sick drum grooves. We've heard already some of the drum machines before. If I audition here, this one is one of my favorite ones. It's called Deep Africa. It's coming out with a new operating system. It has this super nice tribally. Let's load again our friends, the gorillas, to add a little bit reverb. So it's pretty easy to program the gorillas here to whatever we need. For now, what I have here is a couple of patterns I made myself, and the others are all coming with the OP-1. It's very easy to edit them, and it's a really nice way to kind of jam. Especially if we put, now obviously there is my favorite, the spring reverb, but for example there is grid, which adds this, so this would be already sounding pretty good by itself, but with the grid, I don't know exactly what's happening here, but we're basically creating some ambience. Which can be really good on something with high frequency like hi-hats. So let's go back to our tape. Track number 4, I hope I'm not recording something wrong. Let's go. Here we go. Then we have our sound here. Space sound here. Change the volumes here. It has some pretty sick effects on the master as well. Like everything goes through the cow. So again, looking for little inspirations in these things, particularly this, the little operators. They can really, you can play with them. You can actually sync them properly and sequence stuff, with them. But I really think that the funny part, of using them is just tweaking them live and recording them either directly into Ableton if we want to have more control, with delays, or trying to put things separated. For example, this, what I've recorded before in here, we still have the original tape. So this is what we were recording live from the arcade here into Ableton. Then obviously, if we find something like that little, what I can do is if I actually copy it and crop it, and then we have this beautiful function of converting it to a simpler. And so then if I take off the solo, perhaps, if I go into slicing mode, we have all of these little slices to play around with. So this can become eventually part of whatever it is that we're trying to do. So again, you know, this is a very, I think the OP-1 and these little machines and the iPad, and possibly, even though it's a bit heavy, having push with us, you know, it can really function as a not only as a studio from when you're away from home and we really miss the studio nerdness, but it's quite portable. I actually came here today just with a small bag. So again, yeah, this is, you know, a little jam, quite deep, quite slow. Now 119 BPM. I might just save everything and, you know, and continue and edit it, and this might become a record or not. The whole point is really to have fun, you know. Not everything has to become a record. The whole looking for sounds and looking for samples is a great part, and maybe the most fun part of the whole thing. We are at the end of today's episode, Being Nerds with Stefano. Yeah, you know, in conclusion, I really think these machines are very useful, not only in the studio environment, but also because we can take them with us and annoy our friends during picnics or when we feel lonely in hotel rooms. They're very, very good to travel around with, very, very powerful. And I can see particularly the OP-1 being super useful to put down some ideas and then, you know, later go back to studio and see if we can actually make a song out of it. It's been good fun to play around with them. I'm gonna watch even more videos and learn them a little bit more and play around with them, and hopefully you will hear some songs of mine made with the little operators. I would like to make a song only using these, so this is my next challenge. Thank you for watching this, and we're gonna see you again soon for some more nerding around. Thank you, bye-bye.